As with every new season, the Apex Legends Season 16 Revelry has a fair share of undocumented changes that for whatever reason didn't make it to the patch notes. Either because they wanted to keep them secret or because they were unintentionally omitted. So today I'm gonna go over all of them, plus a few changes that weren't necessarily omitted but hidden in plain sight. Let's dive into it. Depending on what classes you have on your team, you can now see certain relevant items on the map, such as care packages if you have a skirmisher on your team, blue supply bins if you have a support, red supply bins if you have an assault, rig consoles if you have a controller, no, not the input, the legend, and beacons with a recon. And these can actually be pinged through the map itself to communicate with your teammates. Loba, just like any other support legend, can actually craft legends banners, but unlike other support legends, she can pick up the crafted banners using her black market, meaning she can initiate crafting her teammates' banners and then get out of dodge to loot them later. If a recon legend scans a beacon to get the information of all legends on the map for 30 seconds, specifically their position at the time of the scan will remain on the map for 30 seconds. But it also alerts everyone on the map that they've been scanned, plus a very visible icon on the map and on the HUD to show where they were scanned from, adding a little bit of a risk of getting pushed from other teams when using the recon beacon. Also, you can apparently only hit the same beacon once per game. While we all know about Horizon's tactical being nerfed, Respawn hit a very large nerf in the bug fixes. Specifically, the ultimate will no longer pull enemies that aren't in its line of sight, meaning it won't suck you out around corners or through Gibraltar's bubbles. It's a bug fix, but at the same time a huge nerf, meaning that Horizon players need to put a little bit more effort into how they utilize their kit to get the most value from it. Before the patch, Horizon usually threw the black hole right outside of a building or at the end of a bubble. This was a valid strat ever since she was released, and while this was considered a bug, stayed in the game for many seasons. I am super thankful it was fixed, as there was very little counterplay to being sucked out of your hiding spot when you couldn't even see the ultimate in the first place. For whatever reason, audio is much less consistent than it used to be before. Not only do footsteps not play at all more often than before this patch, but many audio cues just don't play at all, such as gunshots, legend abilities, and more. Maybe this is the start of a fix or just another bug, we'll just have to wait and see. Wraith's Heirloom has received a massive rework with some spicy new animations, including some cool new draw animations, as well as some insane inspect animations, my favorite being this one, where she pulls out a rag and wipes some sweat off her forehead, just like any sweaty Wraith should. This was a very needed change, as many consider Wraith's Heirloom outdated, with the new heirlooms being added to the game with much fancier animations. They re-added the hammer points for the Mozambique and P2020 and actually made them legendary, but I'm pretty sure that they forgot to add them to the loot pool or something, because I still haven't seen them at all. The assault rifle hipfire was supposed to be nerfed pretty hard this season, and Lobotomy on Twitter actually dug out the information out of the game files to show just how much of a change the hipfire should be this season. But it turns out that hipfiring with assault rifles is still pretty strong. If anything, you should avoid crouching when hipfiring, because crouching for whatever reason makes the spread worse than strafing or standing still. Horizon's tactical is nerfed harder than we initially thought. There was supposed to be a nerf to accuracy when strafing as you go up the gravity lift, but it appears that you gain the same inaccuracy if you go straight up the lift without strafing as well. You're supposed to have a near zero weapon spread as you go up the lift without strafing, but due to this bug or feature as confirmed by John Larson, you just have full weapon spread all the time. Heat shield's visibility has now been improved slightly, making it easier to see in and out of heat shields when outside of the ring. The ring in general seems to have received some changes to visibility, but this may just be placebo effect or something else. After this funny super jump movement technique made the rounds, courtesy of Mocha Sniper for the clip, standing under these guillotine doors or attempting to perform any movement technique like it now has more of a realistic outcome. Custom games now got a small rework in their UI. They now look a lot cleaner with a softer look. They will now show what team number you are plus your team name. Nothing huge, and it doesn't really matter to most people, but it looks fresh for sure, and it will certainly help once I start running community tournaments for you guys. Speaking of custom games, for a limited time we actually had access to hosting custom team deathmatch games from the normal custom games browser, but at the time of this recording that feature has sadly been taken away from us again. But it appears you can currently host duos, so use it as long as you can. Ring consoles spawn in different places than beacons, so if you normally drop in one point of interest for their beacon scan, odds are you won't get it there anymore, for example on Jurassic on Stormpoint. Here are all the spawn points for ring consoles on Stormpoint and for World's Edge, courtesy of Colgen. As you can see, not only does this nerf the previous competitive and ranked playstyle of dropping center zone in non-labeled points of interest, but it more or less makes that strategy completely unviable. For example, on Stormpoint alone, you can no longer get a ring scan from No Name Mill, as in the IMC Armory north of Cenote Cave, No Name Cascades, which is smack dead in the middle of the map, or Jurassic, which is within this Jurassic Park-like area north of Antenna. I'm curious to see how this will evolve as it puts some early rotating teams out of a job. It's a generally massive meta change and actually changes the power of a lot of points of interest. Some are suddenly super viable. For example, Countdown used to be kinda but now thanks to the Ring console is a very viable dropping spot for a fast rotate into a good spot with guaranteed armors. At the same time, Landslide, its nearby counterpart, lost almost all value with the removal of the potential beacon. Fragment West was hit as well, as the scan by the Northwest houses has been removed and the Fragment East beacon has been moved to a very exposed position in the Fragment East Park. If you zipline jump with Pathfinder, you'll keep hearing the zipline sound as if you'd be on the entire zipline rather than the short cut-off audio cue. Not necessarily a change, but a silly bug I wanted to bring attention to, so if you could go ahead and fix that respawn, that'd be great. While you previously only could open your settings menu before heading into a game or after Legend Select, you can now open up your settings and tweak them whenever you want as you're waiting to head into a game. However, there's no leave match button, so if someone takes your main and you want to leave, you'll have to wait until Legend Select has been finished. While Pathfinder did receive a buff as a rotation legend, his mid-fight capabilities have been significantly hindered. The zipline can no longer be as short as it used to be, not letting you place your zipline unless you aim at least 10 meters away. Placing the zipline will stretch it out a bit farther forward, up to at least 20 meters ahead of you, which is a small change, but something that will make instant mid-fight zips feel a lot more clunky. And the zipline did actually receive another change that was mentioned in the patch notes, but not really fully explored. Thankfully, Moki Sniper did the math here and found that the 45-degree ziplines and dismounts are slower than the pre-patch version. Coming off the 45-degree zipline, you used to get 912 velocity, and it now only gives you 800.
Hey guys, so unfortunately Ottr's audio cut out here and no one noticed, so you get me instead. Pathfinder now has a 3x zoom when you aim down sights with your zipline out, as shown here by Moki Sniper. This is a super popular idea for a passive that has been on Reddit countless times.
While Pathfinder's zipline no longer can attach to out-of-bounds locations, its distance is far enough to hit a balloon. This means that you can take a zipline to hit a balloon, zipline up with the faster speed, drop off and then latch onto the balloon to instantly hit it. The lighting has changed in certain parts of the maps, for example the caves between No Dame Overlook and Geyser on World's Edge. And this season had a lot of changes in the patch notes, and a massive meta shakeup in general, seemingly mostly aimed towards competitive and higher ranked games. From my experience, there hasn't been much of a noticeable change in public lobbies, but all the meta changes have left a huge imprint in how competitive and high-rated Apex Legends plays out. Personally, I find it a lot of fun, and I am excited to keep playing in these lobbies as the meta finalizes. If I missed any of the new features that weren't in the patch notes, do not hesitate to let me know in the comments. If you want to learn more about the meta itself, that video is available on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.